Last time I checked, there's about 4 million different ways to battle dinos. I'm gonna tell you what worked for me in the lagoon tank, and we're also gonna go on a field trip. We're gonna go to a local fish store I haven't taken you to before. Let's go. What's up, coral people? If you're new here, my name is Remy, and this is the Bahama Llama Coral YouTube channel. 3 clicks is all it takes to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you know whenever I upload new videos. Over the summer, I was dealing with a pretty bad outbreak of dinos in the lagoon tank. So if you go back over the summer, I was talking about how I take care of the lagoon tank, and one of the things that I was dosing on a regular basis was Vibrant. Well, it finally caught up to me. I wasn't watching the nitrates and the phosphates, and it pretty much depleted those, so the introduction of dinos happened. I'm not gonna get into all the science behind dinos in this video because there's plenty of videos out there on YouTube and tons of literature on dinos, so you can go check that out. I'll link to some of that in the description too. So I'm just gonna tell you what worked for me, and you can take it or leave it. I didn't wanna black out the tank if I didn't have to, so I did a bunch of research and I tried some other things. I experimented a little bit. I started to monitor nitrates and phosphates on a daily basis. My phosphates were pretty stable, but my nitrates bottomed out. They were below 1 ppm, so I knew that I had to start dosing some nitrates. A lot of hobbyists and people in the forums will say to just feed more, and that can work for you, but I like to have a hard number. I like to know how many milliliters of whatever I'm putting into my tank, so I started dosing neonitro. You can actually make this at home if you want to, but I'm super lazy, so I just bought it. So in addition to dosing the nitrates, I also ran across this article on Reef Builders about a guy, his heater malfunctioned and it heated his tank up to like 82.7 or something like that, and he didn't catch it, but it cured his dino problem. It's pretty interesting. I'll link to the video below, but it might not work for the type of dino that you have, but for this particular one, it seemed to work well for him. So I watched the video and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this because he didn't have any adverse effects. There was no adverse effects on the corals or anything. And I'll also link to Mile High Reefer's video. He posted up that he did this in one of his tanks too. So as you're gathering materials, as you're gathering resources, I'll put that all down in the description below. So I raised my temperature up to 82 degrees, and after a week, I noticed that there wasn't really any new growth, which was great, but it wasn't just gone. So I started to manually remove it with the filter sock on the siphon method, just recycling that water back into the tank, and it was doing better. It wasn't totally gone yet, but I could definitely see some change. In researching how to solve this problem, UV sterilizers kept coming up. It kept coming up. It kept coming up. And I was like, okay, maybe I can figure out a way to finagle some sort of UV sterilizer situation on the lagoon tank. And I had no idea, but Innovative Marine actually makes a UV sterilizer for the all-in-one tanks. They have a 9-watt model and they have an 11-watt model for their bigger tanks. So it drops right in one of the left or right overflows, depending on what model you have. And it has literally been out of stock for the last several months at Marine Depot. So it is back. It is back in stock at Marine Depot, but I guarantee you that it will sell out again because this is an awesome product to have in your tank. In my 1 to 2 month battle with dinos, I feel like this is the product that sealed the deal for me. There's no extra pump needed. It just slides right in. Plug it in, turn it on, boom. Plus, there's so many added benefits to having a UV sterilizer in your tank. I never thought it was an option with the tank this small, but if you've got cloudy water, algae issues, parasites, those are all taken care of or at least mitigated in some way with the UV sterilizer. There are a couple drawbacks to this product, and one of them is you can't really control the flow of the water going through and the contact time that your water has with the UV sterilizer. I guess you could kind of with how fast or slow your return pump is set at. And the other drawback is replacement bulbs. Now, I haven't had to replace this one yet, and I've had it for 3 months, so maybe check back in another 2 or 3 months and see if this thing is still going and how often you'll have to replace those bulbs. Links are all in the description below. Hopefully you can take some of the experiences that I've had in this video and apply them to your dino situation. All right, well, I've got to go get some things anyway, so let's head out to the local fish store. This is a new one that I haven't shown you yet. This is called Gateway Aquatics. Let's head out. I've got to get some salt. I've got to get some snails. I've got to get some other boring things. So let's head out. Okay, so today we're going to Gateway Aquatics, which is another local fish store here in St. Louis. I know we've done a local fish store tour of the Corner Reef before, but we've never done Gateway Aquatics. So let's head over to Gateway Aquatics, see what they got, because you never know what you could find. Let's go. So we've got, I'd say, 6 or 7 different local fish stores in the St. Louis area. And the closest to me are the Corner Reef, which if you haven't checked out that video, go check out that video. I've been there several times. This is actually, I think this actually might be closer to my house than Corner Reef, but yeah, it's a little bit smaller of a store, but it's nice and I like it. So we are here. Just get my mask really quick. This is a thicker mask, so I'm hoping that you can still hear me. Can you hear me? Yes, I can. All right, let's go. What's going on? How you doing?
Not too bad.
So I'm a big fan of Gateway because they've got this whole line. All of these tanks are all marked, starting at $5. And yes, please. $5. Yep. Like a lot of local fish stores in the area, and I'd imagine this is probably a trend across the country too, Gateway buys a lot of tank breakdowns, so they always have new stuff in stock. I also like how they clearly mark the vast majority of their coral. A lot of times you go into a shop and you'll have to ask the price of something like 4,000 times, and it just becomes annoying for all parties. Even on the giant display tanks, they've got the wax pencil out with everything marked. It kind of ruins the aesthetic a little bit, but you're there to buy things, so I'll take it. So it's definitely one of the smaller stores, but at the same time, like, they have so much stuff just packed inside. There's just so much. They've got all your fish. They've got freshwater over here. They've actually got some more fish over here. These are kind of like your smaller fish. This might be the biggest leather toadstool. What is this? It's got to be a toadstool. It's just so big. My guess is this came in on a tank breakdown. They've got a whole Zoa section here, which I really like. Just tons of affordable corals here. You always find a deal at Gateway, what I love. Come here, you gotta check out this. This is awesome. Some gorgeous chalices right here. Not cheap. Check out this green Nepthia. Look at that. Whoever said leathers weren't colorful, that just pops. It almost looks like tenuous, like acros from a distance. Do you like how I said it's super affordable and then showed you a $600 chalice? They've definitely got something for everybody, no matter what your budget is. Do you guys remember Ben's tank? It was lit with those $100 lights he found on Amazon. Well, Gateway Aquatics just helped him move his tank into a new house. And this is something to keep in mind if you're ever moving a tank. Most local fish stores will entertain the idea of moving your tank or helping. It's definitely not cheap, but if you've ever moved a tank, any extra help, especially professional help, is always welcome. As per usual, I saw a bunch of coral that I really wanted, but did not pull the trigger. I instead got a bunch of boring stuff. I got some Fritz Blue Box, no offense to Fritz, no offense to B Ionic. I got the B Ionic 2-part, needed some more of that, and I got 4 snails. I apologize, guys. Thank you for what you do. I want to say thanks to the owner of Gateway Aquatics, Chad, for letting me shoot in his store. Oh, we've got a frag swap coming up on November 7th this year of 2020. Again, that anything could happen because 2020. Would you like it if I did a frag swap series again? So if you maybe missed it at the beginning of the year, I did a 3-part series on preparing for a frag swap. It was my first one I've ever done. I got a table at the next one, so I'm going to do that again. But would you like if I documented that whole thing? Go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know if you enjoyed that first series. It's about time to start fragging stuff and preparing it for the frag swap. We're about a month out right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into the frag tank and start chopping some things up. Let me know if you wanna come along. Can't wait for swaps and conventions and just like regular life to start up again. Truly, I just want to travel to Ocean State Aquatics, which could, I guess, happen at this point. I'm not really sure it's going to happen in 2021 with the holidays coming up and everything. It's going to get pretty chaotic with work and family life and all that kind of stuff. So maybe early 2021, I'll get to Ocean State Aquatics. The Frag farm, oh my gosh, it's really growing into itself, and I think that Scott Crow is gonna need another one soon. What if we had like a satellite Frag farm? I figure if I just keep mentioning this in videos that maybe the law of attraction will help me to get a frag farm or be a part of a frag farm, maybe someday. If you have an innovative marine tank, go ahead and pick up that UV sterilizer. Links below. I think it's like 50 bucks or something. So it's pretty cheap by way of UV sterilizers. So go pick that up before they sell out if they haven't already. Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming up, and just funny because my wife and I are scheduling things, and those holidays are coming up in our topics of conversation, and I'm just like, wow, this year went super fast and super slow at the same time. How is that possible? Like, how does it feel like the fastest year and the slowest year at the same time? How can all of this make no sense at all, but still make sense? 2020. 2020. I've used that excuse so much. Be safe out there, friends. I'll see you next week.